Open your kitchen drawer. Find the almonds. 50 of them maybe. Sitting in a bag. If they were the wild kind, that bag would kill you. Not slowly, not maybe. Kill you. Wild almonds contain a compound called amygdalin. You chew. Your own enzymes go to work. They cut the molecule apart. And what comes out the other side is hydrogen cyanide. 50 wild almonds is roughly a lethal dose for an adult. You have eaten almonds your entire life. You have never once been poisoned. Somebody solved this for you a very long time ago. Here is the thing nobody tells you about plants. They cannot run. An antelope sees a lion and leaves. A plant sees a lion and stays. Every leaf, every seed, every root is stuck exactly where it grew, so it fought back the only way it could. Chemistry. 400 million years of chemistry. The almond is the clearest case we have. In 2019, a team led by Raquel Sánchez-Pérez published a paper in the journal Science. They were looking for the reason sweet almonds exist at all. They found a single gene, a transcription factor called BHLH2. In wild almonds, it is switched on. The tree builds cyanide. In sweet almonds, it is broken. One mutation, one typo in one gene. That typo is the only reason the almond is food and not a weapon. Somewhere around 4,000 years ago, a human found that mutant tree and kept it. Every almond you have ever eaten is a descendant of that one accident. So how many other accidents are you standing on? Go further south. Go to the cassava root. 800 million people eat cassava. It is one of the most important crops on Earth. It is also loaded with linamarin, another cyanide-releasing compound. Eat it raw, and you can die in a day. In 1981, a Swedish physician named Hans Rosling arrived in northern Mozambique. There was an outbreak. Villagers, mostly women and children, suddenly could not walk. Their legs had locked, permanently, overnight. The disease is called konzo, the Congolese word for tied legs. Rosling traced it to cassava. A drought had come. The processing had been rushed, because cassava is not simply cooked. It is disarmed. You peel it, you grate it, you soak it for days, you ferment it, you press it, you dry it in the sun. Only then is it food. That protocol takes 72 hours, and it is thousands of years old. Nobody who invented it knew what cyanide was. They only knew that people who skipped a step stopped walking. Now look at the rest of your kitchen. Apple seeds contain amygdalin, the same compound as the wild almond. Cherry pits, peach pits, apricot kernels, all of them. Rhubarb leaves carry enough oxalic acid to shut down your kidneys. The stalk is a dessert. The leaf is a hazard. Raw kidney beans contain a lectin called phytohemagglutinin. 4 or 5 raw beans is enough to put you on the floor. Boiling for 10 minutes destroys it. Slow cooking at low heat does not. It can make it worse. And then there is the potato. Potatoes make glycoalkaloids, solanine, a nerve agent technically. In 1967, American breeders released a new variety called the Lenape. Excellent for potato chips, beautiful yield. It was pulled from the market 3 years later. The solanine levels were high enough to make people ill. The plant had simply been doing what potatoes do. We had just bred it better at it. Why does none of this feel dangerous? Because you were handed the answers before you could speak. But some plants took a stranger route. They did not just build poisons. They built poisons with an audience in mind. Take the chili. In 2001, an ecologist named Joshua Tewksbury studied wild chilies in Arizona and Bolivia. Capsaicin, the burn, is a defense. It targets a receptor called TRPV1. Mammals have it. Mammals feel fire. Birds do not. Birds feel nothing. And that is the point. A mouse chews the seeds and destroys them. A bird swallows them whole and flies. The chili is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to reach a bird. You are collateral damage, and you built an entire cuisine on it. Now look at your coffee. Caffeine is an insecticide. That is its original job. It scrambles insect nervous systems. But in 2013, Geraldine Wright found something else. Coffee and citrus plants put caffeine in their nectar. Tiny doses, not enough to poison the bee, just enough to sharpen its memory. The bee remembers that flower. The bee comes back. The plant is not feeding the bee, it is dosing it, and every morning you sit down and let it do the same thing to you. So why has none of this killed you? Look at your tongue. You have around 25 different bitter taste receptors, the TAS2R family. 25. For one sensation, you have exactly one receptor type for sweet. Sweet is a single question. Is this energy? Bitter is a threat assessment with 25 detectors running at once. Bitterness is not a flavor, it is an alarm, and children are more sensitive to it than adults are. The child who refuses broccoli is not being difficult. The child is running software that kept your ancestors alive. And then, roughly 1 million years ago, we found the cheat code: fire. The primatologist Richard Wrangham calls cooking an external stomach. Heat breaks lectins. Heat destroys solanine. Heat wrecks the enzymes that release cyanide. Soaking, fermenting, grinding, drying, boiling. Every one of those is a chemical procedure. We just call it cooking. Think about what a recipe actually is. It is not a suggestion. It is not culture, not originally. It is a set of instructions written by people who watched other people die. Boil the beans hard. Do not eat the green potato. Soak the cassava for 3 days. Throw away the rhubarb leaves. Nobody wrote down why. They wrote down what happened when you didn't. Grandmother to grandmother. 10,000 years. Every step survived because the people who skipped it did not. So tonight, when you stand at the stove, understand what you are doing. You are not preparing dinner. You are the final step in a negotiation that started before your species existed, between a thing that cannot run and a thing that will not stop eating. You did not inherit recipes, you inherited antidotes. Voiceover